Hello, guys. This is the first sex story I have ever written, and my name is Nikita. I'm a 26 years old, single, and independent girl. My friends always say how cute I look, but what they don't know is how much I love sex. I'm 5'3" tall and I weigh 54 kg. I have a fair complexion, shoulder length brown hair, pink lips, and I'm slightly chubby in the right places. My stats are 32B, 28, 34. This story is about when I was 18 years old. Back then, I had small boobs and black hair. I was pretty excited when I got into a B.Tech college. I had to move away from my home and settle in the college hostel. The first few days were tough. I was homesick. The hostel food was yuck. The seniors were scary and friends were very few. Then entered Avinash. Avinash was in my branch. He was 5'7" tall, dark, and had a chiseled face with an athletic body. I had a few male friends before I came to college, but my interaction with them was limited. But in college, there were no restrictions compared to back at home. We spent hours sitting together through all lectures and evenings in the cafeteria. 4 months passed like a blink of an eye. It was time for the cultural feast. I neither had any talent or interest in participating in the festivities, but Avinash was a great dancer and he was to perform in the feast. A week before the event, rehearsals started and I would accompany him to the practice room. Due to the preparations, all students were allowed to stay in the campus until midnight. A day before the event, after the rehearsals, we were walking back to the hostel. Nikki, you know what? I have never stayed out this late. If my parents knew, they would ground me for life. Avinash, haha, then it's a good thing that they don't know, but you gotta admit, it's pretty cool. The entire campus is buzzing with people, even at late hours. Nikki, yeah, and I don't feel like going back to hostel yet. Can we stay out until midnight? Avi, sure, but where will you go for another 2 hours? The cafeteria is closed. Nikki, we can just walk around, call up our roommates. We never get to sit out this late. Avi, we can do that, or I have a better idea. Nikki, what? Avi, we can hang out in a classroom, have a few beers before you start giving me this scary cat look. I'm telling you, it's a great idea. Friends, I'd never had a drink before in my life. It felt so unnatural to me thinking about it, but once Avinash makes up his mind, I can't say no to him. He knew the dilemma going on inside me, so he continued. Nikki, we are adults now and drinking is a common thing. At least try it for once. If you don't like it, I would never ask you to drink again. Deal? That logic works on everything. At least try it first, and then if you don't like it, don't do it again. The damn logic has no counter argument. Okay, fine, deal. Avinash jumped in triumph and asked me to wait near the academic building's gate while he arranged beers. He was okay as there were many students roaming around. After 20 minutes, he returned smiling. As he came close, I could hear clinking sounds coming from his backpack. I couldn't help but smile. We went inside the building to the fourth floor. Most of the students were using the first two floors for rehearsals, so the fourth was completely deserted. We went inside an empty classroom and he locked it from inside. I raised my eyebrows at him. Avi, what? Do you want to get suspended if you get caught drinking? He was right. We moved to the last corner bench sitting together just like when normal classes go on. Only this time it was almost 10:30 p.m. and there was no lecture. He opened up two bottles and handed me one. We cheered and I had my first sip of alcohol. Technically, beer is 4 to 7% alcohol. It was chilled and fizzy. I didn't hate the taste, but I didn't like it either. Nikki, what's so special in this? I don't understand why everyone likes drinking so much. Avi, It's not the drink that's special, it's what comes after when you feel the buzz. You will thank me. I was like, okay, let's see. Soon we finished our bottles, laughing, talking, reminiscing our 4 months at college, and then it hit me. The buzz. It was pretty strange feeling. I felt happy and free of inhibitions. I looked at him and smiled. I understood what he was talking about. I wanted to say thanks, but my tongue slurred. Avi. Haha, see, you feel good now, right? I just smiled and nodded. Friends are listening to this story on DesiTales2.com. He opened another two bottles. This time I chugged half of it at once. I wanted to say this is some good shit, but I guess my expressions said it all. I was struggling to sit upright, so I leaned back. He understood that I was tired, so he moved his right hand around me and I comfortably slipped into his shoulders. He slid his hands down to my waist. My head was resting on his shoulders and his head resting on mine. There was silence except for an occasional sound of drinking, but we were at peace. For the first time, I was so close to Guy physically, and his hands were around me. On any other day, I would have felt uncomfortable, but that night it was different. He was my best friend, and I liked him holding me. He further slipped